Imagine yourself in a stone-walled chamber. The air is cool and unmoving, faintly scented with old wax and damp linen. The light that filters in through a narrow slit of a window is muted, barely touching the worn rushes on the floor. This is your world, and it will not change. To become a nun in medieval Europe was, for many, not a calling but a consequence. For noble families, too many daughters meant too many dowries, and a convent, with its promise of piety and social respectability, offered a convenient solution. For poorer families, it might be the only path to survival. A girl might be offered to the church before she ever knew what it meant to choose. At times as young as 5 or 6, she would be placed in a convent to be raised as a noble, and from that moment on, her life would be shaped not by love or freedom, but by obedience, silence, and the ever-present gaze of divine judgment. The day began early, very early. Before the sun rose, long before the village rooster stirred, the bells would sound, matins, the first prayer of the day. In the biting darkness of morning, nuns would rise from their simple straw mattresses, if they were lucky enough to have a mattress at all, and gather in the chill of the chapel. Voices joined in low chant, words spoken in Latin, over and over, as much to humble the soul as to praise the divine. Then came then prime, and the hours went on. The rhythm of the nun's day was not one of leisure. There were no idle mornings or long afternoons. Every moment had its place reading scripture, tending the garden, copying texts, sewing garments, caring for the sick, and always returning to the chapel for the next prayer. Meals were silent. They ate in stillness, seated in long, echoing A designated reader would speak aloud from the lives of the saints or passages of the Bible, as the others chewed bread gone hard with age, or broth thin and tepid. Meat was a rarity. Hunger, a familiar companion. They did not speak unless given permission. Silence was not just encouraged, it was enforced. And within that silence, the mind turned inward, to thoughts of sin, of discipline, of whether one was worthy enough to face eternity. Punishments could be harsh, and though violence was rarely physical, it wore on the spirit. A nun who broke the rules, speaking out of turn, showing vanity, even laughing too freely, might be sentenced to eat alone on the floor, or to stand throughout the entire night in prayer as others slept, or worse, to receive the dreaded Missa pro defunctus, a mass said over her as if she were already dead, a living ghost within the community. And yet, it was not all bleakness. Within this life of constraint, some nuns found deep meaning. For those who truly felt called, the cloister offered something precious, a world apart from violence, from the dangers of childbirth, from marriage made for politics, not love. Here, within the stillness, there was a form of control, however limited. Some wrote hymns, some copied sacred texts with elegant precision, some even educated other women, but their world remained small. The walls of the convent rarely breached. The world beyond, the scent of fresh earth after rain, the thrill of conversation, the face of a stranger, was kept at bay. And so, the rhythm of their lives continued. The bell rang, they knelt. The bell rang, they stood. The bell rang, they slept, and dreamed in Latin. You can almost hear the footsteps on stone, feel the cold linen habit against your skin, smell the faint smoke of an oil lamp flickering near a wooden crucifix. A life devoted to God, but also to silence, to repetition, to sacrifice. And though centuries have passed, the echo of those lives remains quiet, but not forgotten. Let us now step gently from this world of silent halls and cold beds, into a different story, no less sacred, but far more forbidden.